say good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another Breakfast Hour morning, and of course it's Wellness Wednesday right here at Flashpoint and in the Grand Cayman Islands, and for all of VIPs across the globe. I want to say good morning to you also, wherever you are. It's breakfast hour time as well. I want to say to our friends in the UK, guys, how are you doing today? Good morning. I understand the UK is warming up. Is it getting colder or warmer? If somebody says it is getting colder in the UK, but I can't imagine the UK not being cold all the time. So forgive me. I am always thinking that. So I think about people who live there, and sometimes the way that I think about it is like, how would I feel about going to work when the time is cold? And when rainfall, I don't want to get up out my bed. And then I am listening to the conversation that it's cold out there and I don't want to leave my house. All right, for my UK friends, good morning to you, or good afternoon to you, because I may be 6 hours in advance. You are in Canada. Good morning to my Canadian friends in the US of A. Good morning as well. Of course, Grand Cayman, Jamaica, Caribbean peeps. How are you doing? Summer birds all around. Of course, this morning we are looking at so many things all week, and of course the Charlie Kirk matter is on the biggest topic on the issues about conversations this time around. I'm listening to a debate about a vegan debate with Charlie Kirk, and it was very interesting, some of the thoughts that came out of that debate. But whichever side of the fence you are on, this has been the biggest conversation since a long time. And many persons are sad about the death of Charlie Kirk. Some are celebrating. I don't understand why anyone would celebrate, but it is something that I think about sometimes. And I listen to the conversations, and I do really appreciate the fact that he took the time out to actually have those conversations. Some of those conversations were necessary to be had. Whether they go the way I think they should go or not, sometimes you need to hear what somebody else is thinking on a particular issue. And you cannot know what they're thinking unless you hear those conversations coming out. For a long time, people were saying things that nobody understood what they were saying. In fact, the people who were saying them didn't even understand what they themselves were saying. And so that was even a very interesting thing to hear and to see when they were confronted by their own what you call narratives, and that they were basically ridiculousness that was being perpetrated. However, having said that, that's the biggest conversation that's going on right now. On top of that, many things are happening around the world that nobody's talking about. Genocide in Africa and other places. We are looking at the Israeli situation, the Gaza situation, where people are having so many lives lost, children, and I'm not going to use the word children and women and children. I haven't told women and children story for too long. People in general, men are also dying too, guys. Please, men are dying too. So it's not women and children that are dying, men are dying as well. So I'm going to put that in there, because I think we have been so insensitive to men's suffering for so long that you no longer care about how we feel. And so it is really something that I must do, and I'm going to say it. So we want to say when we suffer, we all suffer, because if you lose the father, the family don't just go on with the mother and everybody's hunky-dory and this goes on. You lost somebody. But then the society has made it to believe that when the men die or go out, we don't lose anything because it's good riddance, and you have perpetrated this thing too long. So I'm definitely standing out on that issue at this time. That's my topic. One of many, of course. But having said that, we are sad to see the lives of the people. We looked at the one of the debates where the Ukraine war and the age group of the men that were dying in this war. And we didn't say the women and children, no. The men who were dying in the war, who actually are out there fighting the war. Some of our strong and, of course, brave women who decided that they want to be alongside the men fighting in the gutters. I want to say kudos to you, and of course shout out to those women who decide to go out there and fight the war with the men and actually die with them as well. I want to say a big shout out to you. Brave you are to take on the mantle to do it. So I'm not going to be actually sidelining you for wanting to do this. Even though I want my daughter not to go out there and do it. I don't want my child, any of my children, not even my son, to do it. But I would say to our brave ladies who want to do it, kudos to you. And so I hope, that we all have a point in time when we do not have this level of violence, and we don't need to have these wars happening, that we have to find ourselves trying to figure out if we can be peaceful without killing each other, right? And so having said that, that's my preamble for this morning. It's breakfast hour, guys. And of course, we are here this morning. It's Wellness Wednesday. We want to talk about our health and of course, and how wellness can be a beneficial thing to us each morning on a Wednesday. But when I have this conversation, I hope it stimulates and of course gives some food for thought, that when you hear them, you might just think about something else, or something comes to mind that may prick you, that might say, you might have a point there. All right. So this morning, I want to say, if you did not like or you did not share this video yet, please go ahead and do so. And of course, hit the notification bell, that whenever one of these programs comes up, you get it first. I want to say to our audience this morning, big up yourself. I want to say good morning to Marcia Healthcare this morning. Of course, we must talk a little bit about the healthcare services that you provide, and so we'll have a conversation on that behalf. Of course, it's time for devotional right here on Flashpoint. This morning's this segment of the breakfast hour is brought to you by M&M Construction for all your construction needs, and of course, Lasco Food Drink and Food Product for all your food drinks right here in the Grand Cayman Islands. Of course, when we come back.
Good morning. This is day 17. Though you do not believe me, believe the works, that you may know and believe that the Father is in me and I in him. John chapter 10 verse 38. Magic or miracle? Written by David McCasland. Magician Harry Houdini often performed an amazing escape. He was handcuffed, put inside a sack, and locked in a trunk. But he always managed to free himself. Some claimed that he had supernatural powers, but Houdini himself said that all his tricks could be explained. When a museum in Wisconsin opened an exhibit that showed the secret of Houdini's famous escape act, many magicians said it violated their code of ethics that prohibits revealing how tricks were performed. The exhibit proved Houdini was a magician, not a miracle worker. Jesus, however, was a miracle worker. He attributed his supernatural acts to the power of God. He performed them to heal people and to prove that he was who he claimed to be, the Son of God. He said, "The works, miracles, that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. Though you do not believe me, believe the works, that you may know and believe that the Father is in me and I in him." The wonderful works of Jesus established his identity in history. The marvelous works he performs through all who trust him reveal his identity in the world today. Have you found that to be true in your life? Sometimes we see a miracle and faith in God is revived. Yet, we should see God's gracious hand at work throughout our lives. Our quote this morning reads, In a world of smoke and mirrors, Jesus offers the miracle of salvation. End quote.
Do you have a talent for singing, playing an instrument, spoken word, or dance? Then this is your moment. Cayman's Got Talent Season 1 is here. And for our first season, we're putting the spotlight on gospel. Selected participants will be featured at the Point of Praise Gospel Extravaganza on October 25, 2025. But hurry, the final date for registration is September 30. To register, email us at info@flashpointmedia.ky or WhatsApp 345-321-6969. That's 345-321-6969. Don't miss this opportunity to showcase your talent and be part of something special. Cayman Got Talent.
Looking to build your dream home or renovate your space? M&M Construction is the perfect place. We bring your vision to life with precision and quality craftsmanship. From design to construction, we guide you every step, ensuring seamless coordination and superior results. Our professional roof inspection and maintenance services will ensure that your roof is sturdy this hurricane season. So, if you are ready to start your construction journey, call us today at 345-927-7509. Build with confidence. Build with M&M Construction. 345-927-7509.
I'm Audley Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. Rise and shine. Your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and CoraleeKaren, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
Of course, welcome back. Yes, of course, we are here. Once again, it's Wellness Wednesday. If you're just joining me this morning, I want to say a pleasant good morning to you. And of course, wherever you're joining from, of course, you can type in the chat and tell me where you're joining from this morning. Of course, we are located in the Grand Cayman Islands, flashpointmedia.ky. Of course, remember our web radio continues to play all day long. Of course, this program is being heard on our web radio as well as on our YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram page at the same time. Of course, this morning, of course, if you need to go to the web radio, it is www.flashpointmedia.ky. Once you go there, our radios continue to play all day, all night. Of course, lots of information. Today's Wellness Wednesday with a difference. Of course, we want to big up Marcia's Health Services. Of course, it is our health registry. And of course, we will tell you some more about that later on when we come back, how you can contact her and how you can do business with Marcia's Health Registry this morning. All right, so Dr. K is standing by with lots of information to talk about. Of course, Lady Elise will be joining me shortly for this conversation, and so we are in awaiting this moment. All right, so when we come back, we will just talk about the very thing that affects us the most, our health. It says our health is our wealth, and without our health, there is no wealth. Of course, you're listening to Flashpoint. Of course, yours truly, Mikey G, right here in the studios of Flashpoint this morning. I want to say thank you for being such great audience each morning. Of course, when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about our health and how wealthy we are this morning.
Do you have a talent for singing, playing an instrument, spoken word, or dance? Then this is your moment. Cayman's Got Talent Season 1 is here. And for our first season, we're putting the spotlight on gospel. Selected participants will be featured at the Point of Praise Gospel Extravaganza on October 25, 2025. But hurry, the final date for registration is September 30. To register, email us at info@flashpointmedia.ky or WhatsApp 345-321-6969. That's 345-321-6969. Don't miss this opportunity to showcase your talent and be part of something special. Cayman's got talent. Welcome, everyone. It is wonderful, wacky. Can I call it Wacky Wednesday?
What is wacky, by the way? What is wacky?
It's Wellness Wednesday. Let's get our heads screwed on straight. It is a wonderful day to be alive, and there's so much happening today. And of course, Dr. K joins us, and she will be sharing all about taking care of our health today. Mikey G, good morning to you.
Good morning, Lady Elise. Of course, we have been here from 6:30 in the a.m. And for those who didn't know, we are on our web radio from 6:30 in the a.m. on www.flashpointmedia.ky. All right. So if you're joining us early, but our stream starts now. All right. So of course, Dr. K will come on and she will definitely share with us quite a bit of information on our health. And we have been talking about quite a few of the things that she discussed before now. And persons have been asking many questions. Benefiting from the conversation, sometimes I get a little bit, well, I have to take a little introspection for myself every now and then, because I know that it's necessary for me to take some of those advice and use them well. Of course, Dr. K comes up next, of course, when we come back.
Happy that you have taken the time out again to join us. And of course, I want to reintroduce you to our listeners and viewers. For those of you who are joining us or in this space for the very first time, Dr. K is a physician. She has many years of experience in the field. And of course, she has a passion for medicine and well-being, and not only caring for you while you're ill, but preventative health care. And so she has been sharing with us each and every Wednesday. And I think she has almost touched on every single part of our bodies. Hair, skin, nails, liver, kidneys, gallbladder, spleen. I think she has touched almost every aspect, but not every aspect. There's always something to share. So I'm sure she'll be sharing something worthwhile. She has even shared about parasites, worms, and stuff like that. But anyway, today she's sharing something else with us, and we welcome her again to share with us.
Of course, I want to add my quota of welcome to Dr. K this morning. Good morning, Dr. K. Welcome.
Good morning, Mikey G. Good morning, Lady Elise. Good morning, good morning. It's great being here again. So, today we'll be talking about the thyroid and how it affects our body. So, what is our thyroid? So, the thyroid gland is located in the neck. It's a very small organ, but it is so very important. Why is it so important? Because the thyroid produces hormones that are responsible for just about every functioning of the body. And it's important for us to realize that this little organ that we sometimes take for granted is so, so important in our lives. So let's see, what does the thyroid do? So the thyroid produces these hormones, right? And the hormones that the thyroid produce is like in a circulatory way. So the thyroid is basically in connection with the pituitary gland and then the hypothalamus. And what happens is that with these other glands in the body, what happens is that there's kind of a feedback mechanism. So the hypothalamus will produce thyroid stimulating hormone or thyroid releasing hormone, right? And then this hormone will go to the pituitary and then will feed back to the thyroid and said produce more hormone. Okay? So it's like a circular effect. So the hormones that's released from the thyroid is kept in equilibrium because the hypothalamus and the pituitary control the release of the hormone. So the hormone that's released from the thyroid, we have thyroid 3,
Mm-hmm.
thyroxine 3, or triiodothyronine 3, we call them T3 and T4, and also calcitonin, which helps with the regulation of calcium levels in the body, right? So we have the hormones doing so many things. So what do these hormones do? So
Right.
of course, your thyroid hormones basically, as I say, it affects every organ of the body. So what it does, it causes it affects your cardiovascular system. So basically, what it does, it affects the heart, the way the heart functions, the way the heart beats, the rate of the heart. So it affects the heart and how the heart functions. So this is important because if your heart is not if the amount of blood that's going into the heart and the pumping and the circulatory action of the heart is not optimal, then there can be abnormalities of the heart.
Right.
So when the hormone is, for example, people who have overstimulation of the heart hormone will realize that they get palpitations.
Mm-hmm.
So the heart will be fast.
Mm-hmm.
And if the hormone is less, then the heart is going to be slower. Okay? So the nervous system is another system that's affected. So what happens is that if the thyroid hormone is too much, you can get numbness and tingling in the parts of the body. If it is less, you can get anxiety, you can get depression. If it is high, you can get anxiety. So there's a balance. So if the hormone is too high, it causes a problem, and it's too low, it causes a problem, and that's why it has to be made in equilibrium. On the heart, if it is too high, then of course you're going to get the palpitations. The heart is going to beat fast, and if it is too slow, if it's too low, the heart rate is going to be a little low. The other thing it does is that it helps with even digestion, how the food moves through the digestive system, and the hormone is help with that. The hormone helps in reproduction, right? If the thyroid gland is not working properly, there could be irregular periods. So if it is too high, then you can get problems with your menstruation. If it is too low, you can get problems with fertility, infertility. So it affects so many different organs of the body. It affects your skin. If the hormone levels are too high, then your skin becomes your skin becomes basically you get sweaty, and if it is too low then you get dry and brittle skin. So I mean it's just
If I
it
may,
affects your hair, you get hair loss. It's just every single organ of the body is affected by your thyroid.
can I ask a
So
question, Doc? May I? All right. So
go ahead.
I actually I made an observation when I was growing up. I went to school with this particular young lady, and I then saw her when we know more, we are now not teenagers anymore, but we are now adults. And I saw her again, and I saw, it's like when I knew her, she did, her eyes were, when saw her this time, I am looking at her eyes coming further front of her, out of her face. And this
It's
is,
almost.
I know, and so I said, I asked the question. I asked the question, what is wrong with her? Because this is not the person I knew. And and then what happened was, I saw her when it was just mild, and then the next time I see her again, it's more projecting. And so somebody told me when I asked that it has to do with thyroid, something affecting her thyroid and cause her eyes to actually pop out, almost out of her head. And the thing is, it frightened me. I didn't know how to respond to it.
And Dr. K, before you answer, as when you started the conversation, uh, it's almost like a tsunami of conditions just come to my mind. Mikey G just mentioned one condition, and I remember growing up, what you used to hear about a lot is goiter. Everybody, when you hear about a thyroid condition, you hear about goiter. But even when we looked at the diagram just now, it's so amazing that a tiny organ, just like that, so tiny, and you just spoke about mood swing, anxiety, depression, palpitation,
Gastrointestinal problems,
gastrointestinal problems,
fertility,
and
heart
I'm
rate.
wondering if you can cover everything that on all the questions that I am waiting to ask you. I'm wondering if you will be able to cover it in this very short presentation. But I know that a lot of persons, when they go to the physician for different conditions, the doctor will check their thyroid. So Michael G just mentioned the bulging of the eyes as somebody that he knew, and the change in her features changing just possibly because of her thyroid. So now that I've
That's
mentioned,
correct.
I'm waiting to ask you a lot of questions. Yes.
And that's correct. In terms of the you go to the doctor and people are having sometimes mental disorders, and the doctor will, to find out if there's another cause, and one of the organs that they'll check is the thyroid, because abnormalities in the thyroid can cause other problems. So yes, Mikey G, not all the times we can see the effect of the abnormalities of the thyroid gland. So what you are talking about now is thyroid disease, which is Graves' ophthalmopathy. And what it is that the muscles behind the eyes basically increase, so the eyes bulge out. What happens in this case? It's caused because of an autoimmune disorder affecting the thyroid gland. So those persons who tend to have like a hyperthyroidism, so they can get goiter. They don't always have to have the goiter, because the goiter is when there's enlargement of the thyroid gland. And the enlargement of the thyroid gland is heralds that there's something happening. So you look in the neck and the neck looks a little fat, and they will want to say, the doctor says, examine your gland, we'll ask you to swallow water, we'll feel the two sides, because there's the middle piece and two pieces at the end, and the doctor will be feeling to say, is the thyroid enlarged? And if the thyroid is enlarged, and he or she suspects that the thyroid is enlarged, then they will send you for an ultrasound of the thyroid to see if the gland is enlarged, and also we look at the function of the gland. So they will send you for thyroid test. They want to see if the hormone is increased or decreased, and so the thyroid stimulating hormone, and also the hormones that are produced by the gland. So remember we said that if the hormone levels are too low, then the body is going to stimulate the hypothalamus, and the pituitary is going to send message back to the thyroid and say produce more. And if it is too much, it's gonna decrease, send message to the thyroid and say don't produce. You're producing too much. Produce less. Okay, but sometimes there's not a balance here, and there's problems with the thyroid. So it's sending message to the thyroid, and it's sending this thyroid stimulating hormone and keep sending it, but the thyroid itself cannot, because something is happening with the thyroid. The thyroid is being destroyed. So there's autoimmune disorder, means that there's a your body is destroying itself. That's what autoimmune means. That your body, your own body, is producing immune complexes against an organ. So this is another autoimmune disorder where your body is destroying the thyroid. And as a result of the destruction of the thyroid, you can get the goiter, you can get hyperthyroidism. So you can get problems with just about everything here. Depression, anxiety, you can get problems with your hair falling out, skin becoming sweaty all the time, heat intolerance. You can get problems with your heart racing, problems with digestion, problems with the eyes. So then you can get the problems with the muscles behind your eye increasing, and it's popping out your eye. So we call it thyroid eye disease. Okay, and then you can get the problem with the thyroid. Now the thyroid doesn't necessarily have to be enlarged, but when it's enlarged, it causes compressive symptoms. So these persons can become hoarse and have problems swallowing, and that is why a lot of times they will have to remove the thyroid gland because of the compressive symptoms of it. Now, someone can live without the thyroid, so you take out the thyroid and you say, since the thyroid is so important, what happens if you take it out? But if there's a problem with it, you'll have to remove it. And when you remove it, you have to be on lifelong medication.
Wow.
And so if it is if the thyroid is not functioning properly, so we call that hypothyroidism, then what happens is that you have different effects. So the overexertion, the hyper, everything becomes overactive. Hypo, everything becomes slower. So that's where a person who has hypothyroidism will lose weight. A person who has hypo will gain weight, decrease metabolism. I mean, it's crazy. So it's really plays a significant role in metabolism. The way you produce energy, the way you use up your energy, where you use up your fats, the way you burn.
The question I'd ask, Doc, is as I listen to the importance of the thyroid and how it functions, the use of the body, how important it is to the body. Uh, what I'd ask is, what do affect the thyroid that causes it to become inflamed or start to behave the way it does? What are some of the things that affects it?
So there are a number of things that can affect your thyroid. For one thing, iodine or the lack thereof can cause problems with the thyroid. And that is why in countries, or even now, and that was many years ago, historically, there were problems with the thyroid because there was decreased iodine intake in a lot of places. And that is why when you look in your cupboard in your kitchen, you'll notice that most of the food, the salt that you have, is iodized.
Iodine. Yes. Yes.
So, but too much iodine can cause a problem, and too little iodine can cause a problem. So there has to be a balance. But because of that, they have iodized the salt because there was an issue with persons not getting enough iodine. Now you can get iodine, you don't have to get it from just the salt that you take. You can get iodine from seaweed, you can get it from products like shellfish, you can get it from deep sea fish, you can get it from animal products, soy milk, that kind of thing, you can get iodine. So iodine can be had in a number of other ways apart from salt. But in order to get a lot of persons to get their daily increase of iodine, salt has been iodized. And so there are a number of things that causes the problem. As I said, you could have an autoimmune disorder where genetically predisposition to getting abnormalities with your thyroid, and then your body start developing immune complexes. You can have problems that cause because of infections and other things that can affect your thyroid. So there are so many things that can affect your thyroid. The other thing that can cause thyroid disease is basically you can get apart from people are congenitally born with abnormalities of the thyroid. So the thyroid can be affected by many reasons. Iodine is the biggest one, and the other thing that can happen to the thyroid too is, and it's very rare, is that after having a baby, they can get problems with their thyroid, which is usually temporary. But the conditions that the thyroid has, we have our hypothyroidism, hypothyroidism, we can get thyroid cancers, we can get thyroiditis, inflammation of the thyroid, and all of these can have a profound effect on the body. And that's why it's so important for us to take care of this little organ that we've got been given. Now, there's not much we can do, especially when it comes down to autoimmune disorders, because we can't change the genes that we're born with, but we can make sure that we eat properly. And remember, exercise is one of those things.
Wow.
Look at that. I don't know how to go back. It's always the same: diet, exercise,
Rest,
stress,
stress.
stress. Yes.
And Dr. K, and I find a lot, I think thyroid conditions, and as we have spoken about it before, I think because our ability to diagnose conditions have certainly improved over the years. We now recognize the importance of the thyroid gland, and more persons are being diagnosed with thyroid conditions. But a lot of the things that you mentioned seem so much as if we have no control over. I mean, this is the organ you're going about, you're burning away, and suddenly you are losing weight. Suddenly you are losing your hair. Suddenly you're gaining
Having
weight.
difficulty
Suddenly
sleeping.
you're anxious. Suddenly, and then you go to the physician, and then you have a situation to deal with. But certainly, as you mentioned, it's important for us to take all these laws of health
Into
and practice them
consideration.
so that we can minimize the impact. But taking care of this very little gland
Is
is so important.
I am so right now stressed out over the fact that she said all these things.
That is not the answer, Mikey G. Stress, Dr. K just
I,
told us.
I'm eating more salt, all right. So just remember,
No,
more
no,
salt.
no. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're getting enough. Remember, we said too much is too bad. So don't do that. And the other thing to do is that if you notice, like, for example, persons who are going for x rays, they tend to have the thyroid cover.
Yes.
They put and
Oh
you get
yes,
it,
oh yes.
when you're going
I
for
remember
your
that. I remember
dental.
doing that. I remember doing that. They cover my chest. They cover my chest, and they put this thing across my neck to
Right, and especially like those people who are going for dental X-rays. Every 6 months you go get your teeth, and you do your dental X-rays, and they put the thyroid, because even though it's a small dose, but they put the thyroid cover over just to protect your thyroid gland. So yes, we need to protect them from different things.
So
So
that's
we have to
something
make
that we
smoke
can,
request.
yeah, that's something that we can request. So if we're doing an X-ray, we can ask, can I get something to shield my thyroid gland? Yes.
Correct.
Do you have to
Correct. Correct.
request that though,
So yes,
or is it something that is
I
standard?
mean, they should give it to you, but there's sometimes there's an oversight and it's not done. But you can request, or if you have, for example, you go to your dentist and you don't get in the shield, you can bring the apron higher just to cover
Yes.
your thyroid. It's still as effective.
The thing that they give me
So
is a
those
lead covering, Dr. K. A lead covering, you know.
So let me ask one more question though.
I don't get that.
You,
No, the thing
you,
that they give to me for the X-ray is a lead covering, right? This lead thing, you know, I'm not sure. I
Doctor,
want,
you
sorry,
mentioned
I want to give me a lead like.
Mikey
I'm
G.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. But I'm thinking about it now because you see what the problem with me is that you have made me aware of something that I was not so much aware of before. And so now I am definitely taking some special attention to myself since I'm the one who's going to be affected if I don't make an effort to do it. So Doc, thank you very much. For whenever time the text come and say I'm going to do X-ray, say watch, hey listen, watch this thyroid here, you know. I will be careful of the thyroid.
So Dr. K, you mentioned the types of thyroid disorders. You mentioned hypothyroidism,
Hmm.
goiter, thyroid tumors, thyroid cancer, and hyperthyroidism. When do you know when to see your doctor? So, I mean, the symptoms seem pretty vague. I'm not sure thyroid cancer. What do you, what,
Ladies, based on what Dr. K is saying, based on what Dr. K is saying right now, I need to go see the doctor, right? And Dr. K, I need to come see you right now. Okay, so check it out.
So the thing, Lady
yes,
Elise,
also
is that
prognosis like for thyroid cancer.
right. So no, I mean the thyroid cancers, depending on as everything, early detection is important. But if you are having and that's why it behoves you to get regular checkup. As I say, your doctor will always do your primary care. Physician will always do a general examination on you. And just by looking at you, there are things that your doctor will do. Your doctor doesn't have to examine every organ of your body. Your doctor will
Mm-hmm.
look at you and will say, there seems like there's a change in the neck. It's a little larger this time. Let me
Mm,
check on it.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
And so your doctor will check
mm,
on that. But for you to know that there are problems, you know that you're basically feel like your heart rate is faster or slow
Yes.
and you're not exercising, you're feeling more fatigue, and that's one of the things that heralds that something is wrong with you. You're constantly feeling tired. You're normally the person who sleeps. I mean, for example, I can sleep standing up, and if I am having a problem where I'm going to my bed and I'm not sleeping, I'm having insomnia, then I know something is happening to me. So we need to listen to our body. So you have fatigue, you can feel your heart rate being faster or too slow, you can have that fatigue, you realize that you're gaining or losing weight without any why am I gaining weight? I'm not, my diet hasn't changed, my lifestyle hasn't changed, but I'm gaining weight, or I'm losing weight and I'm not doing anything to tell me that your doctor is going to definitely be checking for things that can cause you. And remember, one of the things that can cause you to lose weight is a malignancy. So you have the thyroid, you have other things that can cause you to lose weight. So you're basically checking for what is causing you to lose weight. And sometimes you know when there's a change in your skin. You will normally have nice moist skin. I know it's very dry and it's just not feeling the same, or you're feeling constantly sweaty, or you're having intolerance to heat or intolerance to cold. So when the time is cold you feel extra cool, or when it's hot you feel like you're going to pass out because you cannot deal with the heat. And then women tend to have problems with their menstruation, so they get heavy menstrual period or irregular menstrual period. So you're normally regular, and you normally have regular food, and all of a sudden you're realizing that I'm bleeding like crazy and so much. Your doctor is not necessarily going to be thyroid, it could be fibroids or anything, but they're going to be checking your thyroid to make sure that everything is okay. Or your periods are becoming irregular. So these are some things that you can know in your body, especially your fatigue and changes within your body. So you have to know this is your system. So it doesn't necessarily mean cancer, but your doctor will look at your thyroid and will check your thyroid, and if there's any changes, then they might see that you're not using your thyroid. And they're seeing that your areas, so the thyroid is enlarging, it's not a goiter, because with a goiter, it's just massive enlargement with smooth, everything is, nothing has changed, there are no nodules or anything, there's usually just homogeneous enlargement. So if your doctor sends you for the ultrasound and they're seeing nodules or little areas of that looks different, they might want to do a biopsy, and then this can tell you that may or may not have cancer. So yes, it is changes that's going to happen within your body, not specific around the gland itself, but that's changes what's happening in your general body. Because remember, I told you that your thyroid affects every organ: your hair, your skin, your eye, your heart, your digestion, right? Your reproductive organs, your nervous system, your brain. There's so many organs that is affected. So it affects every organ, your endocrine system. So it's so important for you to know that this is, and you everybody needs to know. Your doctor will not know exactly what's happening to you. It's what you say that will cause them to go searching for something. So you say to your doctor, I am, and even before you say, if you have regular checkups, your doctor will say, why is your heart rate 100? It was always at 72. And you say, Doc, you know that I always feel like my heart racing, and they're going to send you for an EKG or do additional tests. So yes, there's some things that your doctor will pick up, but not everything will pick up, because your doctor will not pick up the fact that you're having fatigue. You have to say that. The doctor will not pick up the fact that you're sensitive to cold or to heat. You understand? The doctor might not realize your skin is a little bit more dry than usual. And it has to get to the bad point for them to notice. When they get to that stage now, the horse has gone through the gates. So you want to look at the subtle changes in order to say something is happening. Listen to your body. Your body screams and tells you when it needs assistance. It tells you that something is wrong. And that's why some people are having pain. Pain is not exactly a bad thing. Sometimes it tells you that something is happening there and it needs some attention. So we need to make sure that we have a healthy lifestyle. We need to make sure that we take care of ourselves. We need to make sure that we get adequate nutrition and adequate sleep and exercise. And don't stop moving. It's very important for us to not stop moving. Because these are things that are so important. So the thyroid is one of those little organs, as I can say again, that is so very important in our body. It's so very important in just about every body function. It's important in how we metabolize. It's important about how our nervous system works, and people who have problems with their thyroid can be constipated, or they can get diarrhea. I mean, it's crazy.
Doc, you just identify quite a few miserable people that I know now. Thank you, Doc, for so much information this morning.
They're constipated.
They're constipated, yes, I know.
But remember, there are other causes for constipation.
I'm going to have to use this one more regularly. If I see somebody like very miserable, I'm going to say, your thyroids are acting up. I'm going to use that one. Okay, it is a wealth of information that we have this morning, and certainly I am more informed about my wellness and my health, and I'm sure that our listeners and our viewers this morning are more informed this morning as well, and it's benefiting or has benefited from this conversation already. To say the least, just knowing is half the battle won. Early detection, as you mentioned earlier, is the first step in actually getting a full bill of health if you can detect these things early. So do your regular checkup at your doctor. And so I think, yeah, how difficult is it though? Let me ask this last question. How difficult is it for someone to just say, I just want a checkup and see whether or not my thyroids are acting or active or in good health, good healthy thyroids right now? How easy is it to
Very easy, because when you go to your doctor, they usually do, as a part of their baseline studies, they do your thyroid hormones. So yes, when they're looking for your cholesterol and looking for your lipids and looking for your kidney function and your liver function and your hemoglobin and your thyroid function is always done as a baseline. So that's not something that most times you'll have to ask for. If you have a primary care physician, they will do a baseline study. And I'm telling you, lots of people are on thyroid hormones.
Yeah, such a wealth of information, Dr. K, and I hope that our viewers or listeners tune in will not only keep the information but share it, because sometimes we ignore the subtle changes that are happening in our body,
do?
and then we end up in an urgent situation. But if we catch what is happening, if we notice that something is unusual, and as Mikey G just asked the question, the doctor can include that along with your physical, your panel of tests that they require, they ask for you to do. So, say also maintain a good relationship with your practitioner. That means don't
Yeah,
spend.
like us, we maintain a good relationship with Dr. K.
Yeah, yeah, do your annual checkup, and of course, just like how you service your car, you make sure that things, the oil is not running dry and stuff. It's important for us to also take care of our body, even the very small organs that we tend to neglect. They do so much to make us healthy and strong. So thank you so much, Dr. K. It has been a wonderful presentation that you have done with us this morning. And I know that I have certainly benefited from the conversation, and I'm sure our listeners as well.
All right.
You said you said that when every 5,000 miles, or when your oil is running low, your car will say service needed. I think probably we have to do something. We'll say appointment needed.
5,000 miles.
Service
Mikey G, you
needed.
are now 5,000 miles. You need some servicing.
Well,
That sounds like a plan right there. Thank you, Dr. K, for this morning's experience right here on Flashpoint. For those who have just joined us for the first time, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell that when one of these programs comes up, you get it first. Of course, make sure you share it with someone that they too can be blessed with this information. Dr. K, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Remember, guys, our web reader continues also on www.flashpointmedia.ky all day. And of course, this program is also being aired right on our web reader as we speak, while we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at the same time. So don't be fooled, guys. We are everywhere at the same time. And of course, everyone, wherever you are, can benefit from this wealth of information that we share. Dr. K, amazing as always. Thank you. On the next run, I'm desperately waiting for what's coming up next. This time, more iodine, Mikey G, going forward for this one. Alright guys, when we come back.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
It is revival time everywhere. Join us this and every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for a timely prophetic word from God with Bishop Dr. G.G. Cooper and the Revival Time Ministries family out of Spanish Town, Jamaica. 1 hour of dynamic, hard-hitting, soul-stirring preaching, good old-fashioned praise and worship and testimonies of the miraculous power of Almighty God. Tune in this Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for an apostolic revival that will ignite the fire of God in your heart. Bring salvation to your household, heal the sick, break yokes, and set the oppressed free. Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on Flashpoint Radio as we give the wind a mighty voice. Jesus saves. Welcome back, everyone. Of course, we cannot get out of studio. Today is a special, special day. It's the birthday of one of our very special, special VIPs. And I'm saying, September, they call September crop season,
Yeah, crab season.
Yeah,
Crab
it's
season.
one of the big
I used to buy. My father was a butcher, and so we used to go to various places across the country, back in Clarendon and those places. And there's a young lady down there who, I don't know if she liked me or something, but I went down there one day and she get one big bag of crab for me. I don't eat crab, don't know, but one big bag of crab. I've never seen so. And then you said it and it came back. My father laughed. He laughed. I don't think my father stopped laughing yet, alright? But I never forget that big bag of crab that I got. She waited for me to come and give me the bag of crab so she catch them for me.
Well, with that said, yes, it's Avion's birthday. And of course, we're going to play one of her songs. I'm sure you have heard a few of her songs played here at Flashpoint, and we're going to drop one for you. But she has one of the most beautiful voices you have ever heard. Today, she celebrates her Earth Strong. And from the entire Flashpoint team, of course, Connie J.E. bigger up last night and just before you got your bed, But of course, we have to put the icing on the cake this morning on the breakfast hour. Happy birthday, Avion. May the Lord bless you and may you have many, many, many more happy ones. I hope today is filled with fun and you get exactly all that you wish and your heart desire. Get it today. Have a wonderful day.
Well, then, so let me do it like this. One quick one.
Yes.
Celebrate life, celebrate life.
Blaze in the steel.
Yeah.
Mix it non-stop with the hottest DJ.
You're listening to Flashpoint.
And so one more year from them, Avion. One more year. Yeah, man. Here we go.
Happy birthday, yeah, my friend. One more year from them. One of five. Give thanks for life. Next year we're doing it again.
Alright, enough. Alright, so we celebrated Avion's birthday this morning.
Yes.
And indeed, it is a wonderful day to celebrate. Avion, big up yourself. You are a friend and, of course, a valued VIP member.
All the way.
Love
Yes.
all the way from the Flashpoint team, but from Mikey G. Mikey G special. Me extend my love.
Alright.
100%.
Mikey G.
I have to say it. Avion is my girl, so don't play with that, alright? So All right. Let's do it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
No, you know what? I don't know.
Tra la 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 la. Happy birthday, sweet 16.
All right. That's it. I'm done. I'm finished. I'm done with it. I'm finished.
Yes, I hope you're feeling extra special today. And on that note, I know it's time for us to get out of studio before our thyroid swell up. on that note.
Oh, it's time for our news. I'm going to go. It's news time. Of course, the news is brought to us.
Thank you, listeners. It's time for our news, and I say have a well Wednesday.
Alright, news is brought to us by Sai Ultrasound for all your ultrasound needs right here in the Grand Cayman Islands and beyond.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Alright, some permission for me and for you to allow me to just drop this one track. I know it's news time, but I decided, you know what, I'm gonna just drop this track for Avion this morning. It's her birthday and everything. So this is one of her songs that she did. J Prophet is also featured on this track. So I'm gonna do it like this.
Where shall I go from thy spirit? Or where should I flee from thy presence? If I ascend into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the utmost parts of the sea, even there thy hand shall lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. Prophet.
Anywhere I go, you are right beside me. Anywhere I go, you are there to hold me. Anywhere I go, you are right beside me. Anywhere I go, you are there to hold me. If I make my bed in hell, you are right beside me. But when I lay my head down, God, you lay right beside me. After all that I did, you tell me you still love me. But when I run and hide away, you always come and find me. Anywhere I go, you are right beside me. Anywhere I go, you are there to hold me. Anywhere I go, you are right beside me. Anywhere I go, you are there to hold me.
Anywhere I go, I can feel you close. And this I know, my God never lose. And even if I choose to refuse, it will still conclude. God, you are here. Even if I make my bed in hell, God, you are here.
Alright, Avion, of course, the man J Prophet this morning. We're going to feature lots more. Of course, continue to listen to Flashpoint Radio. Our web radio continues to play on www.flashpointmedia.ky. And all these songs and more are always featured. Trust me, drop a few tracks for you every now and then. Let's go.
You are right beside me. Anywhere I go, you are there to hold me. Anywhere I go, you are right beside me. Anywhere I go, you are there to hold me.
Alright. Yes, of course. It's time for our news. Our news is brought to us by Lasco. All your Lasco drinks, and of course, a side ultrasound for all your ultrasound needs.
Lasco 1 and Up now has ARA, DHA, and prebiotics. It's a new, smarter formula. The time by Lasco 1 and Up is...
The time by Lasco 1 and Up is 8:58 in the AM, and it's news time right here on Flashpoint.
Lasco 1 and Up now has ARA, DHA, and prebiotics. It's a new, smarter formula. The time by Lasco 1 and Up is...
I did say the news. It's already... No, it's not 9. It's not 8:58. It's still 8:58, and it's the news, alright?
Good morning, Cayman. It is Wednesday, September 17th, and these are the news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. I'm CoraleeKaren. C3 wins major court battle over fees. We begin with a major legal victory for Cayman broadband provider C3 Pure Fiber. A Grand Court judge has ruled that the company is not required to pay more than $1 million in back fees to the telecommunications regulator OFREG. Justice Ian Kawali found that OFREG did not have the legal authority to charge so-called royalty and regulatory fees, which C3 had stopped paying in recent years. The judge declared that while OFREG can charge initial and annual license fees, it cannot raise what he described as coercive revenue. C3 has pledged to credit its customers if the ruling stands, but OFREG has already filed an appeal saying it is confident the judgment will be overturned. Caribbean cruise income lowest in the world. A bank official has warned that the Caribbean earns less from cruise tourism than any other region in the world. Speaking in Barbados, Lilia Baron-Siuk, the bank's Caribbean director, said cruise ship passengers bring in 24 times less revenue than eco-tourists. She urged governments to work together and even consider introducing a unified Caribbean environmental tax on cruise ships. Baron-Siuk says the model of tourism in the Caribbean has probably reached its limit and needs urgent rethinking. Cayman vigilant against mosquito-borne diseases. Cayman remains free of local outbreaks of mosquito-borne illnesses such as dengue, chikungunya, and Zika, even as cases climb across the Americas, Asia, and Africa. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Nick Gent says there is no immediate cause for concern, noting that Cayman's labs have full testing capacity and strong mosquito controls remain in place. Still, he urged travelers who feel unwell after trips abroad to see their doctor right away and share their travel history. The Mosquito Research and Control Unit also continues larvicide operations and aerial spraying as mosquito numbers rise sharply this season. Condos selling faster in Cayman. On the real estate front, Cayman's condo market is showing signs of momentum. According to to Provenance Properties, the median time for condos to sell has dropped by 8 days compared to last year. While pre-construction delays skewed early statistics, Provenance says current resale conditions are healthy, with overseas buyers continuing to view Cayman as a safe haven. Venezuelan migrants boost Ecuador's economy. A new United Nations study shows Venezuelan migrants are contributing nearly $900 million annually to the economy. The International Organization for Migration says most migrants are young and eager to work, but remain vulnerable in informal jobs. Still, streamlined documentation and recognition of qualification have boosted their productivity and tax contributions. Barbados launches Innovation Growth Market. Barbados has officially launched its Innovation Growth Market, giving small and medium enterprises a new platform to raise equity capital. Officials say the initiative could transform the economy by helping businesses expand, generate jobs, and attract investment, following the success of similar junior markets in Jamaica and Guyana. Holness vows to continue leading Jamaica. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says he's not ready to pass on the baton of leadership. Speaking at his swearing-in ceremony for a fourth term, Holness said there is still much more to build, describing his leadership as being about Jamaica's destiny rather than his personal legacy. U.S. strikes in the Caribbean spark outrage. And finally, controversy in Washington as U.S. President Donald Trump has confirmed another military strike in the Caribbean, targeting what he said was a Venezuelan drug boat. 3 people were killed in the incident, the second such strike in recent weeks, but lawmakers are furious. Senator Jack Reed has condemned the move as an unauthorized act of war, warning it risks sparking open conflict with Venezuela. Congressman Gregory Meeks is also demanding answers about the legal justification for the attack. And that's your breakfast or news roundup. Continue to stay tuned for more updates throughout the day.
Do you have a talent for singing, playing an instrument, spoken word, or dance? Then this is your moment. Cayman's Got Talent Season 1 is here. And for our first season, we're putting the spotlight on gospel. Selected participants will be featured at the Point of Praise Gospel Extravaganza on October 25, 2025. But honey, the final date for registration is September 30. To register, email us at info@flashpointmedia.ky or WhatsApp 345-321-6969. That's 345-321-6969. Don't miss this opportunity to showcase your talent and be part of something special. Cayman Got Talent. It is revival time everywhere. Join us this and every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for a timely prophetic word from God with Bishop Dr. G.G. Cooper and the Revival Time Ministries family out of Spanish Town, Jamaica. 1 hour of dynamic, hard-hitting, soul-stirring preaching, good old-fashioned praise and worship and testimonies of the miraculous power of Almighty God. Tune in this Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for an apostolic revival that will ignite the fire of God in your heart. Bring salvation to your household, heal the sick, break yokes, and set the oppressed free. Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on Flashpoint Radio as we give the wind a mighty voice. Jesus saves.
right, welcome back. Wow, what a news. So much happening in the news this morning, and I want to say, kudos to the JLP for winning the election, and of course to the PNP for showing the Jamaican people that there is still hope for a different governance or government for the people. We looked at remittances and how remittances are very important to the structure or the life of countries. Different countries benefits from remittances. Cuba is one of those countries. Venezuela is now recognized as one of those countries, and over $9 million being remitted to that country. Jamaica is one of those countries. Many countries are benefiting from, and of course in many Caribbean countries, Barbados, Trinidad, wherever you live. Once you go somewhere else, you're always sending back money to your country for your family members and to take care of your personal business while you're out of touch with your country. All right, and so this is how you help to give back. For the Jamaican population, a study came out some time ago. I think I saw this study somewhere around 2015 or 2016, anywhere around there, 2017, within that time zone of remittance going back to Jamaica in 40% of the GDP of Jamaica. That is the gross domestic product of Jamaica, and that simply means that Jamaica has a gross domestic budget of over $14 billion a year, right? $14 billion. It was 13 point something billion, and then it went up to 14 billion. I'm not sure where it is now. But that was then, right? I saw it then. I didn't do a second study to say update myself on it, but I still remember that conversation. I remember the data for that, and so I'm using it. I don't know where it is today and if it's the same or more, but then it was 40% to GDP at that time, between the era of 2015 to 2017, even 2018, around about that time, I would say, across that time zone. All right, and so that would represent over more than $4 billion, when you think about that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, over $4 billion. When you think of 40% of 14 billion, it is more than that. So we're thinking about how much money is being sent back into the country of Jamaica. And then yet still the question was asked back in when the election was going on just the other day. And people are questioning the idea if whether or not persons who live in the diaspora should be a part of the electoral process. And so I said, I brought this data to the front of the conversation immediately and said, well, if you're contributing to over 40%, over $4 billion to your country's economy, then yes, by all means, I think there should be a means by which all persons in the diaspora should be allowed to vote. And there should be something electronically set up, so you don't have to take a plane or a boat or whatever means of transportation you take back to your country of choice, to Jamaica. I'm talking about Jamaica now, to have this voting right. So that's a conversation that we can continue to have. It's 4 more years before another election, and so much can happen within that next 4 years. But in the meantime, the JLP has won the election. The PNP has been the second runner-up, and they have done a very good thing by showing the Jamaican people that there is an option to governance within the Jamaican context. Of course, guys, I thank you for joining us this morning for this morning's experience. Wellness Wednesday with a difference. Of course, revival time comes up on Flashpoint every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. every Sunday morning out of Spanish Town, Jamaica. Of course, Dr. Cooper, he is a dynamic preacher and teacher of the word, and of course he wants to tell you that to join him every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. right here on Flashpoint. One more reason to listen to Flashpoint every single day. Of course, our web radio continues to play all day today on www.flashpointmedia.ky. Continue to enjoy Flashpoint, and of course enjoy the rest of your day. Of course, catch us tomorrow morning right here at Flashpoint when we do it all over again for you. Breakfast hour continues all throughout the week. Remember, keep us until Friday because we have our Family Friday, something awesome coming up. We have so much to discuss with you. on each of these days. Have yourself a God bless day. Catch you again. Keep safe. God be with you.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries. We'll make our way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, we'll all sing better outside. Just us in the sky. We'll go wherever, I'll be yours forever.
You're listening to Flashpoint, the family radio.
Hey, I am Brother West, and the only station I listen to in the morning is Flashpoint Radio. Please stay tuned and be